All right, so I got a phone call. Um, so what was I gonna say? So I was working. What do you call that? Rain World. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and then so basically I was just paying rent. It was like 600, almost $700 just for the rent for each of us. So I was like working nonstop because I was trying to do my own art. So half the fights were about me staying up late and drawing, and her saying make some money. So I was like, so I was trying to do everything at once, anyways. So Marine World ended up happening towards the end, towards the summer. So I ended up seeing it on Craigslist or something. I don't know where it was. And so I took the job. I draw some pictures. The guy was like, "All right." He was a Mormon dude, and I guess his mom was a famous Mormon writer. So, so the guy was cool. He's kind of goofy. I guess he drew some stuff for The Simpsons or whatever. Like he was a fill-in artist for The Simpsons, and so I thought that was cool. I was like, "Well," and he had a booth at Marine World, the caricature booth. So I was like, so I met him, drew some pictures. He even if I didn't draw the normal caricature style, he was like he saw me draw with a big old marker and being able to draw because I was drawing real life stuff for I don't know where I was drawing. So when I was working at Voice, like I remember first working there and then they'd had me go to like assemblies for the schools for the high school or whatever, and we'd have a booth or a table. So I would be the artist guy, and I'd be like, there was like two or three of us, and so I would be the guy that was running the show. I was like, okay, so we're gonna set the booth up, we're gonna share this material, and there's the handouts and sign up, and then to attract people to the booth, I would draw people. So I was like, okay, free drawings. So I'd do portraitures of people. So that was super popular. I remember the first time I did that, there was like a line all the way, like all the kids in the whole school wanted to get drawn. So like the whole time so most of these assemblies that we'd do this, all I would do was just sit there and draw people for like 3 hours, and there was always lines of like millions, like so many people, like seriously, like hours and hours, like barely just taking a break. But it was cool, that was easy for me. That was fun for me. It was something that I can give to other people. So when what was I saying? So yeah, so Marine World, that I just did that again, and he was impressed. He was like, oh, this guy can do the job. So he kind of tried to teach me his style, but I kind of just stayed with my cartoony style, like my own thing, because I was just, it was you got to do the job. You got to sit there and draw people. Like you don't have time to guesswork it. And so it was kind of just so he just let me do it because he was needed somebody. So I was doing that job for a few months, a couple months, and it was cool, man. There was like so many gorgeous women too, like the girls that they were like Russian or something, because they would like walk by and they were like dressed like Wonder Woman and all this stuff, and they were the workers that were work at this thing. So I was just sitting at the booth and they would all walk by all the time and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey." So I felt cool. I was like, "Wow, making money. I get free coffee." And the guys at the mochas, people were like, I guess I don't know how that. A guy, I think the owner of the booth hooked it up somehow, so I get free mochas. So I was doing pretty decent. Like my girlfriend, I don't know what happened. Oh yeah, yeah. So she was letting me use her car, and she was doing her job stuff. So there was stuff boiling over the home front as far as girlfriend boyfriend stuff. But so it was just a job, and I was getting paid, and I was able to make my rent and do all this extra, have things going on. And my grandma had passed away, or they got an inheritance somehow from my grandma's house, and so he gave me some money few thousand, and so I bought a video camera, and because still want to do movies and stuff like that, and because going after art school, I was like, I didn't have a video camera, but I was into doing video work, doing film stuff. So I used like $500 of that to buy a video camera, and like was gonna buy a car, but she was like, oh, you can use my car or whatever. You can have my car, because she had bought another car, I think at the time, or I don't know. She was driving something. I forget what she was driving. She ended up taking it away after and like giving it to her little brother, and little brother wrecked it. So, but it was a car that I had met her with. So it was her old car, and my car had got impounded. So Sarah bought the car that I got from my uncle. For $5,000. Like probably worth like $15,000. The cops ended up. I didn't pay the registration and whatever. So then I lost that car. So I was using her car. She let me use her car. So when we moved to back to Chico, Chico, first of all, she co-signed on the house that I was renting. The only reason I was able to rent a house, I didn't have good credit. So, and during that year, she kind of just like, was doing her own thing. I don't know. So there's a whole story. I don't even want to go into that right now. What I wanted to talk about was, okay, so I lived there. She moved. Damn it. Okay, so how am I gonna say? So it gets complicated, especially relationship stuff. So really, I was there. She broke up a year after that. She moved back to San Francisco. She was like, you can move with me or whatever, and I was like, I'm not moving back over there. So she moved, and I stayed there, and we were on and off here and there. I'd go visit, and she was working for some company and blah blah blah, renting a room somewhere, and I was still there. My dad was helping me pay the rent, and he was paying half, I was paying half or whatever. So, and I had my son go to the same school, and so I was being a dad, and also I don't know, what was I doing? I was doing the farmers market, so I was out there in town doing art shows and all this stuff, and drawing people, and doing freelance work here and there and all this stuff. So I was doing a lot of art and music during that time. I'm 42, Oak, so that was like a big deal. And then five years later, we finally break up. Or, through that time, she came back, went to Europe, told me, and then came back from Europe and was like, hey, So we ended up hanging out for a year after, like here and there for 3-4 months after that, or I don't know how long. And she did her family stuff. She was from there, so she just kind of went back to her old life, but she was still dreaming about Europe. So I was just like doing my art stuff, and it was part of the Chico world. So when she came back, all the people from Chico was like, what? That's your girl, that's your person you were with. And so there was all this stuff happening. So she was really good looking, but there was all these other girls that were all over and everywhere I went. So everything started getting crazier. So when I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna, my son's already getting older, I'm gonna do my own thing, I decided to start getting rid of stuff, because I had all my stuff from all the past in garbage bags and everything, trying to go through it all my artwork that I still have, that I'm still getting, but I got rid of a lot of stuff. I had all the stuff from her too, because she had brought some furniture from her house to my house, to the house I was living in. So I had her futon and stuff, and it's this crazy life. I don't know. So when she, what was it? When she left, I don't know, the second time, she was still in town. It was weird. It was like, I thought she went back to San Francisco or whatever. So this other guy came. And there was a bunch of different guys here and there, but anyway, I'm not even gonna get into that. And then, so I decided to live. This is where the drama, like the heavy drama, starts coming in. So I saw a room on Craigslist that I was gonna rent. It was like $400 for like for master bedroom in a 2-story house, or 2-story duplex or whatever. So I was like, fuck it, like I'll live this life where I'm renting a room with 5 other people, and save some money and then go. So I was working at Butte at this time, so I knew I could afford it, but I couldn't afford too much more. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to save. It never really happened. I never saved. And jobs would be there, and then it would not be there, and go be there, not be there. So it was kind of like not good enough for me to keep my money right. So, and like I said, I didn't know all the stuff that was going on, but I kind of knew some stuff was going on during 2012, because that was when I was doing the cross-cultural leadership center, and there was all kinds of stuff that happened during that time. I think I'm gonna have to wait to talk about this because it's way too much information to go into. But it's a nice date. Let's see, is there anything else I could talk about? That's terrible, like a whole hour just to get to the place where I actually wanted to talk about. Okay, you know what? Let's see if I can do this. So I was working at Butte, and okay, so let me just go through this first place. So these people that I moved in with, there was this, I think she was gay, or whatever you call that, homosexual or a lesbian. She was a girl, like blondish, or kind of dirty blonde, kind of manly-ish, short hair, and kind of like, I don't know, she rode a motorcycle or something. She was like, hey, I got this room, and got somebody offered me this other place, like a whole room, like a whole top floor for me. So she's like, I gotta take it. That's why I'm leaving this place, and but I need somebody to take over the lease or whatever. I was like, all right, cool. Like, had its own bathroom or whatever. It's kind of, everything was dirty, but I was like, all right. So it was one of my first experiences of living with strangers, so it was weird. During this time, the girl that I was talking about, she was seeing this other guy. When I was drawing at farmer's market, like, there's a whole thing with that. But during this time, she came to me towards a couple months into it, and she was like, hey, I'm pregnant from this other guy. And we hugged, and she cried. And she's like, I don't know why I'm crying. And I was like, I'm happy for you. And I wasn't happy, but I was like, I just said that. Some deep shit. It's life-changing shit right there. Like, that was some shit that's like, I can't even believe, like, that's why people write poetry. So that was kind of like that painting of the blue bird and the yellow girl, like, coming true, like, in a weird ass way, because she was pregnant, and the painting grows pregnant, and exactly how they hugged is how we hugged, and how he felt that bird looked is exactly how I felt, and she cried, and so it was just like, damn. So that was one of those moments where I was like, okay, that's pretty weird how that happened, because I painted it a couple years before or something, like, and why she cried, she was, in love with this guy. So but she still loved me, obviously. Like, there was still some connection there, where she felt, whether the guy told her to come talk to me or whatever, there was still like these emotions that she was good at that, like, suppressing her emotions. So, just kind of fitting in wherever she went. Like, so when she was around my world and around me and whatever, she let some of that stuff out, and she didn't know why, because in her mind she had moved on and whatever. But when she was around me, she felt her life when she was with me. So I think that's because she didn't know. She's like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, overwhelmed or whatever. Because I was not making her feel guilty or nothing. I was already like, it was just too much for me. I was like, wow. There was all this other stuff going on, all the precursors. There was so much shit during that time that was just another piece. It was the worst piece, but it was to me. But it was all too much at once. So I let it go, and I mean, what can you do? I didn't go, and I felt bad for not even going to, you know, fight for her or whatever, like, during the whole time. There's a whole story into that. But the main thing of that was living with these people. So I want to call out all these people, but damn, I don't know if I could right now. Let me just leave it like that, because I'm feeling emotional. So yeah, let's talk more about it later.